Hi, so I just finished my monthly women's improvement call, and what a powerful conversation. Over the last several months, we've had an opportunity to talk about so many different topics and best practices, sharing personal stories. But tonight was another one of those nights where it hit home because it was about work-life balance and why it's so important to honor yourself and implement and incorporate work-life balance in your personal life. So one of the things that I talked about starting off the call was you have to accept that work-life balance is important, but it's also a challenge. It doesn't come easy. I've been with my company now about 16 years. I think I'm 16 years. 16 years. And work life balance for me, I've been working on it for at least the last 10 years. That's been important. It's something I've talked about. It's something I want to be intentional about, but it doesn't just stop. It's not a checkbox. It's not something that happens overnight. Every day you have to choose to make work-life balance a priority in your life and find ways to implement it where you can separate work from your personal life and not allow your company, your organization, if you're a business owner, your clients to have 24 access to you. It's so important to be able to pour into yourself so that you can pour into others when it comes to the workplace, because you got to be productive, right? How can you be efficient? How can you be effective if you are burnt out and you're not giving yourself what you need? So I want to go over to a couple things that we talked about on a call that might help you. First, set realistic goals. Make a list of your priorities and set achievable and realistic goals next to every priority. Now, this is going to look different for each of us, but once you find out what your priority is, you list that out, set those goals next to it. You're going to write something out that's very realistic because you don't want to put yourself in a position where you feel like a failure because you just did not happen to meet those goals. So you got to give yourself grace. You got to give yourself grace and knowing that this is a process, it's a journey. And there's many times that I've had setbacks where I'm running and gunning, I'm going. I'm acting as if it's a sprint and not a marathon, and then I have to sit myself down. So make a list of your priorities and then set achievable and realistic goals. Secondly, have a conversation with your employer. Whether you have direct reports or you are the direct report, have a conversation about what's important to you. If work-life balance is important to you, if taking time off is important to you, express that. Make sure that the other individual is fully aware, even as a leader. Make sure your manager knows that work-life balance is important. You value your time off. And when you're off, you're off. Okay? You want to have that conversation with your employer. The third thing is really, really setting boundaries. Okay? What does that look like? You have to separate the two. One of the boundaries for me is on the weekend, I do not check emails. I don't log in unless it's something I plan for during the week that it is just, I'd rather do it on the weekend. But I'm very, very intentional about taking the time on the weekend to pour into Jessica, to do things for my 5 to 9. I have a lot of other things outside of my corporate job. So I am pouring into myself outside of work hours. So my weekends are my weekends. That's a boundary that I've set. I've also set a boundary when I'm on PTO. Unless it's an emergency, I don't want to be contacted. I'm off limits. Now, I do have some friends that may also be, employees with the company, and they'll reach out and we'll talk about something. But if you're calling me specifically for work, that's a boundary that I set in place. I want to make sure before I leave the office that I have set up everything where there's a backup plan in place. There's a strategy in place where you don't need to call me. And that may be something that you need to do and you're not comfortable with doing, but have something in place where you can set that boundary and you can completely cut it off. Another boundary that I have in place is my office is on a different floor from my bedroom in the kitchen. So on the weekends, unless I'm up here watching TV, there's no reason for me to interact or get on to my system. So that's something that I have set in place. The fourth is say no. Say no. Be comfortable with saying no. There's a way to say no, but be comfortable with saying no when you don't have the capacity. And anybody who knows, my favorite word is capacity. I don't have capacity to do that right now. Also, as a leader, I like to ask my folks, do you have capacity to do that? Honoring your capacity is so important, and knowing when you don't have it in you to give. Is there another strategy that in place? Is there another resource? Can we delegate out something? Do I have to be the individual? Am I the subject matter expert? If you are the subject matter expert, why isn't anyone else the subject matter expert? Is there a development opportunity there to build the skill sets up for someone else? Fifth one is really scheduling time during the week for self-care. So today's Sunday, love self-care Sunday, but is Sunday the only day that you practice self-care? Make time throughout the week to practice self-care. When you first wake up, whether that's lunch, taking a nap on your lunch, taking a walk, eating lunch away from your desk. Maybe you want to sit out on the patio. I've done that sometimes. I take 30 minutes and just take a break just for me. Maybe you want to read, listen to an audiobook, listen to music. But practice self-care during the week so that it's not only on the weekend, right? Give yourself that where you can practice self-care, and it helps break up that workplace and personal life piece and helps you with creating work-life balance. So I hope that these 5 tips helped you when it comes to work-life balance and really making it a habit and learning for ways that you can maintain it. But understanding that the journey of work-life balance is not a checkbox. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon because it's something that's ongoing. You have to put efforts into it all the time. But when it's clear that that's what you value, it makes those conversations easier. It makes it easier for you to take your time off. So honor yourself, take care of yourself, and focus on work-life balance and how that would be beneficial for you, your family, and also the ability that it would allow you to pour into yourself and prevent burnout. Thank you for watching this video. If you're struggling with work-life balance and you feel like you need a coach to help you establish it, to identify a plan and how you can maintain it, let's book a coaching call. I would love to help you with establishing work-life balance that works for your life, creating a plan that gives you the opportunity to work, be productive, but then also enjoy your personal time. I hope that you have a good day, and thank you for watching my video.